Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jazzy. So today I wanted to bring you guys kind of a story time on my weight gain journey, as you could say, just like my self-love story and how I came to be and love myself so much. Last week I put out a video about what you guys can do, like tips and tricks on what you guys can do to learn to love yourself a little bit more. And this week I realized that I probably need to tell you guys my background a little more, because I did reference it a couple of times in that video, and then I realized you guys don't really know much about my background when it comes to my weight. So growing up, I've always been overweight. Growing up, I was overweight. I was a chubby little girl, and I continued to be overweight through middle school and into high school. High school is when I really realized that I wanted to lose weight, and really I wanted to lose weight so that I would look better, and it wasn't for the right reasons. I just wanted to look better, and that's just so ridiculous to me. I pray that when I have kids, I teach my little girl that she is perfect the way that she is. But I do know that it doesn't always have to do with your parents. I know my parents talked to me like I was beautiful all the time. I mean, my mom always told me how beautiful I was. My dad constantly was telling me how pretty I looked growing up. And so I don't really necessarily think it's always has to do with the parents, and it's more the surrounding environment. I know that kids that I grew up with they just weren't kind when it came to my weight. I was always the biggest in high school. I was always the biggest in sporting events. I tried to be involved in different things. I tried to tell, my parents were always the type of people that made me believe that I could do anything that I wanted, and I really tried to do anything that I wanted, but I always just came out feeling like I was less than because of my weight. When it came to sports and just literally everything, I always felt like my weight is what held me back. So, and knowing that now, I know that that is not the case, but when you're younger, you don't know that. So in high school, I ended up realizing that I needed to lose some weight in my brain. And so I ended up working out. Literally, you guys, I can't even begin to explain to you how much I worked out. I would go to the gym at 3 p.m. whenever school would get out. I would run to the gym from school. Literally, I would work out to get to the gym. Then I would get to the gym, and I would be there till, I swear, I was there till 7 or 8 at night every single night. And it wasn't once in a while. It wasn't 3 times a week. It wasn't healthy. It really wasn't healthy. I had no life outside of working out. That was all I thought about in high school. So I lost a lot of weight. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen. Very proud. Not at all, if I'm being honest with you. I look at those pictures from high school, and I think I was beautiful, but I think I am beautiful. I don't think it has anything to do with my weight. I feel bad for her. I feel really bad for her, because I know that I really thought that losing weight was going to bring me more value. Or bring my life more value. And it just didn't. It really didn't. And I remember thinking back then that it really did. I remember thinking it did, because I had all these friends, and I felt like people wanted to hang out with me after I lost weight. And I had the same amount of people wanting to hang out with me before I lost weight as after I lost weight, but I wasn't open to hanging out with people before I lost weight, because I didn't feel that self-worth that I thought weight loss was going to bring me. And it never brought me that. I'll just tell you that much. It never brought me any self-worth. If anything, it actually made me feel worse about myself, because it made me feel like people were only hanging out with me because of my size. And it's just all ridiculous now in hindsight when I think about it. But then I went on into college. I was my thinnest on my graduation date, I remember. And then when I went into college, I continued to maintain that thin weight. So, and by thin, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now what my weight was at my thinnest. I was 210 pounds at my thinnest. So you see that here, I'll just do it again. I'll put another picture up on screen. You see this picture of me, and I was 210 pounds in this picture. So anybody that thinks they are not worthy because they aren't under 100 pounds or under 200 pounds, or like, I don't know, you guys. I just remember seeing that number, 210, and thinking it was so big. And like, look at me. Like, I was not big. So anyway, regardless of that, in my lifetime, I have never been under 200 pounds that I remember. I'm sure I was when I was very young and never weighed myself. But ever since I've been able to step on a scale, don't remember a time that I was under 200 pounds. So, back to my story. So then I went into college and I felt like a badass. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I was hot shit when I went into college. And I was, so I deserve to feel that way. But I was shitty. I was hot shit, but that made me shitty. And I judged people for their weight. I judged myself. I really thought I was bigger than I was. And I am not going to sit here and act like I've always felt confidently about my weight, or I've always felt like everybody that is overweight deserved happiness, because I did not feel that way when I was thin. I did not feel that way. When I had lost all of that weight, I remember I would judge everybody that was overweight, and I was sad. I was not a good person. So anyway, then I went through my college years still thinking I was way bigger than I was. I mean, I was obviously not that big, and I thought I was. And I remember I fell in love. I literally thought that my first love, I suppose you could say, I literally thought he broke up with me because I was too big for him. I remember a question that I asked him. You guys, I'm so embarrassed of myself. I remember one of the questions that I asked him when he broke up with me was, did you leave me because of how big I am? Like, if he did, like, fuck him. Like, if that's why somebody were to leave you, like, that's a horrible reason for someone to break up with you because of your size. But I really just felt that small. Like, it's weird because it's another thing that, like, I know I touched on the too much and not enough topic in a different video, but like, it's another one of those things. Like, I felt so small because I was so big, if that makes sense. Like, or big in my brain, I wasn't, but I felt like because the bigger I got, the smaller I was, and the less I meant. The less I meant as a human being, the less worthy I was of love, the less everything. I just felt so unworthy because, like, the more weight that I gained. And then I got into a really horrible relationship, which I've talked to you guys about before. And I was at my thinnest in that relationship again. And he just never loved me. Like I tried so hard to be loved by this guy, and it didn't matter. Like, and no matter how much weight I lost, I was never going to be loved by this person. And it had nothing to do with my weight. Like, it's just like, we are so toxic. But I know that that's like instilled in us as when we're like growing up or whatever. But I also wasn't surrounded by the greatest people. I also was surrounded by people that put me down for my weight, or that made my weight apparent to me. I think I had one friend. No, I had two friends in college. I had, let's say one, because I had a different friend who made me feel amazing because of my weight. She thought I was freaking the hottest person ever because I was bigger. But that again was accentuating on my weight. But I think I had one friend in all of my college experience that never referenced my weight, never made me feel any type of way about my weight. And actually, when I really think about it, she might be the only person in my whole life who has ever made me feel like my weight was not a factor in who I am as a person. But anyway, regardless of that, like, it's all in the people that you surround yourself with, which is one of the tips that I gave you guys in my video last week. And that really does make a difference in the way that you feel about yourself, is the way that other people talk about weight and you and just your weight in general. So anyway, I got in this shitty relationship and I got out of it, and I just realized, like, my weight is like the last thing that should matter. And through college, like before I got in that relationship, I worked my ass off. I walked all the freaking time. Like literally I would walk like 10 miles a day. Literally 10 miles a day, you guys. And I would open my eyes and like what I would think of in the morning was I need to go on a walk. What I would think of before I went to sleep was I need to go on a walk. I need to work out. I need to be thin. Like that was all I thought about. Like, how toxic of a human being was I? I just literally can't imagine being that type of person anymore. But anywho, then I went through a really bad experience with this man, and I realized that like my weight was not who I was. Like it made up so little of the person that I was. And I started following different YouTubers, different plus size YouTubers, different plus size accounts on Instagram. And I started really working on fixing the inside of me and the different things, stereotypes that I had thought were accurate about plus size people. I started realizing that it doesn't matter if you're, I mean, of course my seat's not gonna freaking squeak right now, but I started realizing that it doesn't matter if your seat freaking is rickety when you sit on it. It doesn't make you any less of a person or any less valuable or any less capable of sitting in a seat. Like I just started realizing that all of these different like weird things that I had told myself were because of my weight. Like just literally didn't matter. My weight was not even a part of them. Seats just freaking like make a noise sometimes when you sit in them, and it doesn't mean that you're too big. Sometimes you have to push the freaking sorry, I'm swearing so much. Apparently I'm passionate. But sometimes you just have to push the table out away from the booth to fit in it. Like that doesn't mean that you're too big to fit in the booth. It means that they didn't give adequate space for you. I just started realizing all of these things that I had piled on in my brain, these thoughts that made me think that I was less than, were just that. They were just thoughts. And then I met Dominic, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like he didn't play a huge part in my work, in like my journey to self-worth. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like he didn't help me through my journey, because when I first met Dominic, I remember I still was so judgmental of plus size people. I was a mean girl when it came to weight. I wasn't a mean girl in general. Like I think anybody that knows me would have never said that I was a mean girl, because I was always like, I am a nice girl. But my own brain, like I wouldn't say them out loud, but I would think them. I would think mean thoughts about other girls. And that is a tip that I forgot to put in that video, but like that is one that we really need to work on as human beings, is like accepting other people for how they are and not being so toxic. But I know that that was just like a learned behavior growing up and hanging out with people that thought that way. Anyway, I don't know if any of this is gonna make sense to you guys, but my journey, I suppose, I guess if I were to put up a timeline for you guys, it would be, was overweight, got into high school, and worked my ass off, worked out way too much to be healthy even, like it was very unhealthy the amount I worked out, lost the weight, still hated myself just as much as I hated myself before, and continued to maintain that lost weight, and continued to hate myself. And then went through something, I mean really severe, and realized that I needed to get my freaking shit together, because my whole life was revolving around my weight, and it was so like, I wasn't growing as a human, and realized that I needed to like look at the world differently than I was looking at it, and look at it as bigger than I had been viewing it, and started focusing on that, and it really changed my life. So some of the tips that I'm going to bring you guys, like I really do genuinely hope that they help some of you, because they have changed my life. They have changed the way that I view people, my interactions, the way that I talk to my friends. They have changed everything. Like people that knew me back then would have not had any idea that I was so toxic mentally. I was totally messed up when it came to weight back then. Not to say they wouldn't know, because a lot of them knew. but I just don't think they realized how bad it was, and that every single interaction that I was having with everyone, I was trying to search for the validation about my weight. So like if somebody would say anything like negative about me in general, I would somehow find a way to pertain it to my weight. So anyway, I don't really know if this told the whole story. I really don't feel like it did, you guys. I feel like I'm gonna sit down and edit this and be like, this is not a complete video, girl. What are you doing? But I just kind of like, I suppose, wanted to give you a timeline of my whole weight journey, and I feel like this video would be forever long if I gave you the in-depth of each of them. I would love to give you an in-depth on each moment, and if that's something you guys are interested in, or anything, like if you guys are interested in any sort of like more tip videos, more like, I don't know, you guys, I feel like this video doesn't make sense. I just can feel it in my soul. But hopefully it makes some sort of sense to you guys, and I don't have to completely refilm it, and I can just use it, and hopefully it'll help you guys learn more about me. Anyway, you guys, I love you, and yeah, I need to end the video. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my SD card is almost full, so I just need to end it. So I hope you guys like this video. If you want to see more like this, let me know. I would love to bring more videos to you explaining where I've come from and where I am, and just explaining my story in general. And I will see you guys next time. Also, if this is the first time on your channel and you aren't totally weirded out by this whole situation, because this whole video I know is a total crapshoot, to be honest, but if you like that type of video, please remember to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you be a part of the family and grow with us.